Hello and welcome back. We are finally continuing the Top 5 series. And if you're wondering why our pictures look like this time... Hello indeed. If you're wondering why, yeah, we tried recording this over Christmas, and we both did a recording on our end of the computer, and both of them were completely unusable. And the moral is never ever trust Skype.
Yeah.
So, okay, our second go, though, at recording our top 5 episodes for the next character on the list. So, would you care to let them know who it is?
Pinkie Pie. I already showed her before, I'm sorry.
Well.
She sneaked in picture.
Show stealer Pinkie Pie.
Yeah, small Pinkie Pie. Hello, big Pinkie Pie.
Pinkie Pie, who does not have a cutie mark on both sides, and doesn't look as much like Pinkie.
I don't think mine have either, actually, now you're saying it. Mrs. on this side, has on that side.
She don't care, right? She's Pinkie.
Yeah. And mine have streamers and all sort of weird stuff in the hair. Yeah.
Okay, so...
It's not a normal Pinkie Pie.
Hasbro, keep working on your merchandising. But, alright, so top 5 Pinkie Pie episodes.
One more, these are so cute. Yes.
And, okay, Pinkie Pie is kind of a polarizing character, I guess. Yeah, she gets big reactions, and to me, she's my second favorite after Rainbow Dash. I think that, Rainbow's the one I feel like I relate to the most often, the one who I feel like has the strongest episodes, but, well, consistently the strongest one. But yeah, Pinkie Pie, she's hit or miss for me, but, when she hits, she really hits. I think that she's the one character who is kind of something we haven't had before. I mean, the closest I can get it is that she's a combination of SpongeBob and Tylee from Avatar and Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls, but yeah, I think that this character is the show doing stuff that hasn't quite been done before. This is true inspiration at work.
Yeah. I also think that she's something completely new. We have seen overhyped characters before, but not like this. So, yeah. But do you want to start out with your number 5?
Oh, sure. And yeah, my, Pinkie Pie's episodes, like her, have also been polarizing, and some I don't like. There's some I think that people are really missing the boat on, and yeah, start with that right away. Secrets and Pies. I think this episode is way underrated. I had a great time with it. I think that, I think this is totally Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash to a lesser extent, but yeah, doing what they do best at the top of their game. Got the total Pinkie Pie conflicts, her insecurity coming back, but yeah, this episode does it in its own way. It doesn't just rehash. It doesn't do Twilight turning all over anxious and hyper at the drop of a hat because see, she did that in lesson 0. See, she does that. This is another story about something else. Pushing Pinkie's insecurity out of her. This time, it's more just that itch she just can't scratch. That really got to know. Just because this is maybe silly, but it's something that matters to her, darn it. And, where Party of One was, falling into, betrayal, this one, or feelings of betrayal, this one is more falling into obsession, and, Pinkie Pie habits we've seen coming back, the fantasies, except, this time, this is a whole new, hilarious one with, the poorly drawn Rainbow Dash, and, this time around, it was more the nightmare fantasies from Arthur, where, silly, but still kind of getting at these irrational fears, what we're sort of afraid is actually the case, even though it doesn't make any sense, or, our worst case scenario in these, very silly fears, and, Pinkie Pie here, Rainbow Dash here, I think this is right in character for her, and, they kept it up all the way across. This did not turn into stupid humor at any time. They knew when to make it over the top and when to play up just how obvious it should be, and yeah, the silliness of it, and when to say like, okay, but the feelings here are real. Just all of the above.
Yeah.
So, and just lots of inspiration and innovation all the way across. All the gags, the fantasy sequence, like I said, the blink sequence that was a little
the blink sequence.
Love that so much.
Yeah. But I must admit, I can't take that disgusting pie in the end. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that hinders me for loving that episode. Actually.
It was a gross out scene, but I mean, even that was a gross out scene done in a way with gusto and with like some inspiration behind it. It's kind of like SpongeBob-esque. Pinkie Pie, I decided for you, I will eat this. Close up, yeah. Ta-da! In all its glory.
No. I can't. I'm more fond of the reference that they have to Monty Python when there's this poorly drawn Rainbow Dash and goes like, "Bring out your dad." I just could hear that in my head being like that, and her with laser eyes and stuff like that. It was just like really awesome. Don't think like any of us had ever predicted stuff like that happening in My Little Pony show.
Kind of like the nightmare scenes from Arthur, like they're ridiculous, but they kind of do sum up the irrational fear in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I actually also like. I actually saw it a little while ago again, and I actually like the moral a little bit better now after watching it a second time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we all can like try to avoid conflicts sometimes, avoid the hard stuff to make things easier, and I mean, I don't know. And actually, I do think that can be the right decision sometimes. Like there is such a thing as pointlessly making things hard or confrontational, but there comes a time that this episode points out, you do need to just kind of address this stuff up to a certain point. If you're creating pie disposal chutes that go down and land in your tortoise's breakfast bowl to get around this, maybe it's time to do something else.
Yeah. No, I know that it's the easy way out.
So and people give Rainbow Dash such a hard time for that. That was not the most tactful way to handle it. Because when has Rainbow Dash ever not been the tactful type?
Well, I don't know.
But, I mean, Gift of Mod Pie would have fit this slot for me just as well, but I wanted it to be Secrets and Pies. I wanted to push that a little bit. But you guys are a good episode. But, alright, your turn.
My number 5 is Pinkie Apple Pie.
We're apples together. No, we're apples forever. Apples forever. Apples together. I do even that dance. Tried to do my take on it back in my Pinkie Apple Pie review when it was mostly still unscripted vlogs and apples together.
Yes.
Continue.
Please. Yeah, I just like with her finding out like she is in family with Applejack or maybe not, right? I just love the way that she finds out and the travel that they have together and her being so like overjoyed and everything like they do on that travel, including the song. That's great. But them going through that cave, them taking the pictures on the waterfall, and like all of this stuff. Like she becomes a part of the family, even family, right? Yeah. So she learns how it is to, how it is to be family. That's why I love it so much. I like it so much. Yeah. And also, it looks a lot like my own family, actually. The apples.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Because, I mean, it's... Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, I keep thinking you're done, but continue. Don't mind me.
It's okay. No, you go. I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, the apples remind you of your own family.
Yes, but we don't have, like, I don't think we have a Pinkie Pie, actually, in our family.
Yeah. I don't think I'm quite pinky enough to qualify, so...
Oh, you're my Rainbow Dash, right?
But, no. I was a little more like Rainbow Dash when I was the obnoxious little kid. Years ago. But now I try to mellow it out.
Yeah. And me as your AJ.
Oh, you're that shipper, huh?
Yeah. I ship everything. You know that. Including second day, right? It's best ship.
Well,
that was not what we were talking about.
No, it was not.
We were talking about the
Right.
It goes wrong.
But I mean, the truth be told, it's not my favorite take on the Apple family. Like, I mean, I guess the dynamics between them, I mean, they're not off the ball with, like, it's alright, but I mean, I don't know, this episode, it seems like a Natasha Levinger thing too, but yeah, it did it in a way that became kinda tedious, that, it just kind of shows things being uncomfortable between them, and it doesn't, like, for a while, it doesn't really go anywhere with that. It just kind of lets it simmer, which...
Yeah, but it's often more than that with family, right? In real life as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, but it's not happening in quite a way we've seen from them before, so...
No.
I don't know, it just feels like...
But when have we seen family life with them, actually, besides them working?
Yeah, well, there's how Applejack's, like, being overprotective of Apple Bloom. That even happens in their very first appearance. But, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying it's, like, a bad impression of family moments like that, per se. It's just, like, I mean, yeah, just kind of, yeah, lets all this tension sit there. It's like...
Yeah, I just like it because it's a family episode. But yeah, there's a reason why it's on number 5. I also think like it has its moments, for example, where Apple Bloom loses the map and stuff like that, where I'm like, oh, okay, now it's going a little overboard. But elsewise, yeah, I think it's a good episode.
I don't know if there's like any moment I pick out as particularly bad there. Although, like, I was glad to see this episode. When it came out, season 4, I felt like was kind of a slow starter, and I felt like it needed an episode like this, because, I mean, yeah, like, well, the family stuff, you know, it gets the point across and everything, and the other thing is that Pinkie Pie is really good in this episode. Like, I kind of think she was the ace in the hole this time around.
Yeah.
She just does so many hilarious
even though
things.
Even though that you might think it would focus more on Applejack, yeah. It just feels like she steals everything, like when she's in stuff.
Yeah, well, Applejack
almost all the time.
Yeah, Pinkie has all the gags, all the best ones.
Yeah, but you have a number 4?
Indeed, I do. Pinkie Pie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess this would be a lot of people's number 1, and me, I'm wondering if it should even beat Secrets and Pies because of just, the 1 2-minute sequence that I do not go for at all. I think is actually one of the weaker moments like this in the entire show.
Oh?
Well, yeah, like, I mean, this episode, I guess, well, it has Pinkie Pie versus Weird Al Yankovic to see who is the better, crazier party pony. That should have been fantastic, and I mean, it is. Every time it is that, it is fantastic, and it is what gets this episode on this list, and it is his Super Duper Party Pony song is, it's great, it's one of the series' best songs, top 10 or 20 at very least, the Goof Off, that's just one of the best sequences, that is exactly what this episode should have been doing, and I mean, there were feelings of, like, jealousy and competitiveness that enter into that, that's fine, that's what it should be, like, if it played in more like, Fall Weather Friends, just, having the rivalry, seeing that in action, and just letting the character and the emotions and the hardships that come out of that speak for itself, just as the conflict is happening, that would have been good. I even could have like put up with I don't make new friends, but keep Discord, something like that, where again Natasha letting her making things a little awkward. But I mean, even that though, it's still it kept it going. It kept the focus on the gags and everything, and the adventure, the hijinks, the what the episode was meant to do, and just show the conflict escalating in what's the word? In accordance, I guess, to that. But although even if it didn't, besides like play up the awkwardness a little too much there, but like here, it's okay. I don't know why it felt the need to do this, but I mean, like okay, this it apparently just wasn't content with being the great Pinkie versus Weird Al Yankovic conflict episode. It decided it needed to be something. It decided it needed to be something.
So I don't like the serious part.
Moment on well, I mean, they play it so bad. It is like the definition of leaning on melodrama as a crutch. Like he shows up, he sings his super duper party pony song, and this is the transition into where it starts to get serious. But what about the super party pony? Like, I mean, the second she says that, I was just like, oh no. So I can tell exactly where it was going with that, and it was everything I was afraid it was going to be and more. That ham-fisted line from Rainbow Dash that comes out of nowhere, that is prompted by nothing, just there so we can pile on the poor Pinkie.
Of course.
These parties are fun and sweet and all, but this party is going to be epic. No offense, Pinkie. That's just the most ham-fisted thing.
Yeah, it's pouring salt on the wound,
well, I mean, there's nothing that prompts that. It's like, I don't know, it's like that scene in SNL where they're making fun of Black Swan, just like, now, we need to tell you your White Swan is good, your Black Swan, not so much. Your White Swan, good, your Black Swan, bad. In fact, we made a chart about it. White Swan, up, it's an unironic version of that.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, I didn't like how awkward Party of One got when they did nothing but emphasize that, okay, Pinkie Pie was just kind of falling to pieces because she wasn't playing off of anything. It was kind of happening in empty space. But, okay, at least there was a progression to that. I mean, you did buy that Pinkie would do this. It's just like Cheese Sandwich shows up, and it's not like, I don't know, she tries to participate, tries to make the party happen the way she wants, and like she just keeps getting like less attention than she's used to, or Cheese upstages her a couple of times, and then like it just like if they'd let these moments where she gets burned happen a little more naturally, just come out naturally over the course of like competing with him or trying to match him in the party planning, and then she finally hit rock bottom. Like that I could have lived with, but okay, instead they just they tried like they're almost reveling in the fact that it is over dramatic. Like, oh, don't you feel so bad for Pinkie? Pinkie got burned, or like something. Pinkie, someone upstaged her. Isn't that the most tragic thing ever? Don't you, like, I mean, it's almost. I mean, I feel like if there is a reason people go for this stuff, it's that, I mean, we've all had stuff like this happen to us, and I feel like it's piling on the...
That's true.
Isn't that so sad? Isn't that so horrible? Shouldn't it not be happening? And that sequence where they just, like, grind out her... Maybe I was wrong, and Pinkie Pie shouldn't plan parties at all.
At all, yeah.
I put away my party cannon. I deflated all my balloons. No, Pinkie, not that. anything but that. You must be brave. Live on. Alright, so that is what it takes to turn one of the best celebrity featuring episodes you could ask for, doing exactly what it should be doing perfectly right. That is what it takes to turn it into my 4th place on the list instead of my 2nd or maybe even 1st.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Mostly talking down to an episode that is my 4th favorite Pinkie Pie episode of all time. Yeah, I mean, make no mistake. Like, outside of those painful 2 minutes, it is fantastic. And it's like, it perfectly adapts the Weird Al persona, giving him all of his, typical, well, not typical, his gimmicks like the accordion and stuff. And it doesn't, and it remembers that his persona, it's not so much that he's that weird, like he can be, like he's eccentric, he takes everything, like he's, enthusiastic for everything, but I mean, he's not bigger than the moment. His gimmicks are, like the stuff he comes up with, the stuff that he causes to happen around him are what's, larger than life. And
he takes all of the stuff away from Pinkie, and that's...
like in the Goof Off, Pinkie Pie's, the one who's like bending physics almost, just like what is it, doing these insane acrobatic stunts, or she can make a bubble that is somehow perfect, bubble art of shaped like Rainbow Dash, and Weird Al is pulling off all of these like larger than life gimmicks: a giant cheese wheel, a super giant party cannon, a boneless chicken in live action dancing, and parade floats and stuff. And doing a parody of Pinkie Pie. So
that's so cute.
Anyway, go ahead.
My number 4 is Party of One. As you said, it has more, there's that story, and it's also like, I think the original first one, right? Is her bragging. I just like that she, the way that she invites her friends to the party and go, because like they've been partying all day, and it's too much for them, and then she tries to figure out why they don't want to come, and then you find out in the end that it was actually because it was her birthday and they wanted to hold a surprise for her.
It's supposed to be a red herring. Like
the best thing about this episode is her in that haystack with the glasses.
I think it's
so cute, so funny. Because like,
who else would it be?
She's trying to hide, and it's just so obvious. And also the episode, like one of the first episodes where we actually see Applejack lie. Her in the bar, sweating, being like almost afraid of Pinkie Pie, where you're just like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. This show wasn't so wooden as to like go the route that Applejack literally can't lie. Just that it's tough for her at times, or that she it's not her first choice. Like it didn't go so still doesn't. No, she's the element.
Yeah, but the only thing I don't like about it is her interrogating Spike. But I also really like the tea set drinking scene with her drinking tea with the bag of oats or what it is, and a pile of rocks. So cute.
All right, that's it. Like the whole episode, that sequence is like.
I just like, we all had those, tea parties when we were small, right?
The insane ones.
Maybe we should switch to your number 3 before I get into trouble.
It's a very interesting episode. It's an episode with lots of big emotions, and I do. appreciate that. Actually, in hindsight, I mean, I was with it for like the first 1/3 or so, and I kind of thought it was going to be about overkill, about just like, we all love being around you, Pinkie. It's just that there comes a time where it's time to go home. But
serious,
then maybe also showing her some sympathy there, like some consideration, understanding that she's someone who thrives on a little more attention. But yeah, instead it goes the route it did. And now in hindsight, I'm wondering if that was supposed to be like a red herring, making us think that the friends actually were tired of Pinkie's parties. But that's not quite the impression I got. It became clear pretty early that it was going to be some kind of surprise party for Pinkie.
Actually, for me, I was in doubt of maybe they just wanted to have a little time for themselves. But yeah, when they're all meeting at the barn, it's pretty obvious. Yeah.
Right, but anyway, you were wanting to move on, so
okay. Number 3.
Feeling Pinkie keen. It is admittedly at least as much a Twilight episode, maybe even more than Pinkie's, and
okay.
It is so hilarious though. Like this is Twilight is a great straight man in this episode. Just like the the gags are just timed so well. I mean they don't take the time to advertise them like, hey, nothing's gonna fall on my head. Okay, I mean, not that she never says anything like that, but it's like she doesn't just like stand there and let you know exactly what's going to happen before it happens. It's like they mess, even like in moments where she does sort of set it up, they mess with the tone, the pace of it a little bit, and especially since there's no way to not guess at some point that Twilight's asking for it, she's gonna get hit again, but she's leaning on the barn door like, see, nothing, there's absolutely nothing to worry about with open door, and then a random one you don't even see opens up out of the ground.
I like that as well.
my favorite moment of that whole episode may be just hearing coming from the Twilight, you came to visit my new apple cellar, how nice. Twi. Boy.
Yeah. So, I also like Applejack in this episode when she's hiding and you're like, okay, then it's serious. If I was just like, if Applejack believes in it, it have to be serious.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's actually, I mean, I really do like the moral here too. That kind of like, you don't think you know it all just because you're a rational or a logical mind. All right, if the logic you're applying isn't working and somebody else's is, then you kind of have to consider that maybe they know something you don't. It's arrogance to think that you know it all. Nobody knows it all. There's still a lot. I mean, and the episode's soliloquy to this at the end. There's a lot that we still haven't discovered in this world. A lot that we still don't totally understand. And actually, a lot of people, I think at the time this episode came out, said, aha, they're trying to make a statement on religion that we should believe. How dare they? I'm like, I have very little patience for that one. But
I think
I guess the more reined-in version of that is, they're trying to say that you should just have blind faith in things, and that is exactly the opposite of what they say here, because what they establish is that the reason people believe in this is because it does work, not because it could still be a coincidence, but Pinkie says it's Pinkie sense, so we gotta believe. Like Twilight, she tries to figure it out specifically, and the results she keeps getting, she can't currently explain this, and it does work. So, excuse me, just into my throat there. But yes, because clearly I'm keeping my mouth open too much. But with all this talking, yeah, I think, like, okay, the episode, the point they clearly make with Twilight constantly trying to explain it, and with the knowledge she does have, not being able to, but still discovering that, okay, yeah, it does happen the way Pinkie's predicting, and it does matter, so, alright, I guess, alright, I guess I'll have to alter my beliefs here. I'll have to take that into account. I have to accept that it would be arrogance at this point just to think that I can dismiss this. So, yeah. Great episode, great moral, lots of fun all the way through. Twilight is admittedly a lot of what's funny in it, but I mean, Pinkie fits right in, just being herself, just having a good time with this. Yeah, great moment where... What are you doing, Pinkie Pie? Oh, I'm letting Twilight follow me all day and pretend I don't know. What? Why didn't you say something? Well, that would have spoiled the secret, wouldn't it? Lots of fun.
Yeah.
Over to you.
My number 3 is Gift of Mod Pie. And actually, I was like, also watching that for a little while ago again, and I was like, yeah, I actually really love this moral. I know it's based on an old story, right, with a woman that gives a guy a watch and a guy that gives a woman a comb, and then she her hair and he
buy the watch.
Yeah.
Not a watch, like something that's supposed to go on a watch to make it more decorative.
I have no idea. I know the newer episode. I don't know the old story that good, but I love also, like, we figure out what mod sense is, and the moral of, like, not giving away, you know, everything to appease the other, or I guess it can have a certain amount of morals, this episode, actually, but that was one of the ones that I got out of it. And also, like,
which one?
Like the way that Pinkie strives to get the perfect gift for her sister, like giving up her party cabinet for the perfect gift, and, you know, then Rarity freaks out and tries to hide, and Mod Pie sees right through her and stuff like that. It's just like, I feel like they're bouncing off each other very well, those three.
Yeah. I love the chemistry between the three of them in that episode. Like, there's this episode came that close to making my list.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that mod is fantastic. I love how they kind of make her a more comfortable presence bit by bit each time without ever seeming to have to try. Just like, it's almost like we just kind of get to know her a little better, and that, it takes advantage of that. Like, it has her do things that, okay, now we kind of get where she's coming from with that.
Yeah, but, like, that's just the basics of why I like the episode, so that was pretty quick, I know. But that's it, yeah, and also feel like Pinkie steals the show and the scenes that she's in and stuff like that. But also, like,
the one
when
where they just have
Rarity tries to impression her, that's the best.
That is kind of my favorite part. Yeah. I don't know if I could have. Well, maybe Maud. Like, why isn't she using her cannon? Oh, look how filthy my hooves are! Fight! Got to Maud in the way again. Where's her cannon? No, don't look at me that way!
Simple and straightforward, so...
There's something else too. Oh, the moral about how, okay, you shouldn't have to martyr yourself to make things even, just so you can say that you gave whoever as good a gift as they gave you. They shouldn't want it to come to that if they care about you, and I love that, especially since the show has faltered on that one in the past, in, like, the more recent seasons, and in an episode involving Rarity, no less.
Yeah.
Bravo. Bravo to Maud for being such a blue blood soul.
And we can and we can do it really quickly because, like, what is your number 3 now? It's going on quickly.
Oh, my number 3 is feeling Pinkie keen.
This is number 2. We are already at number 2.
Yes, we are.
Here it is in Pinkie Pie again.
We finally agree on how great an episode is, and you want to skip right over it. Okay. My number 2 is Mystery on the Friendship Express.
Oh.
Yeah, love that episode. I feel like that episode is like Pinkie's world almost. And yeah, I think like some people, and I never got this complaint for the record, dismissed it as like, but Pinkie's being stupid. She should not be stupid. She should, this show should make clear that she's actually very smart. But okay, well, one, that hadn't been confirmed like at all at the time. Well, no, I guess the thing with I'll take that back to an extent. The Cranky episode where she knows the names of everyone in Ponyville. Like, okay, the way this episode plays it, it's like, yeah, Pinkie Pie, I mean, she just thinks a little differently, which is actually very relatable in a lot of ways. But yeah, she okay, like she can be very smart. Like she has great capacity, but okay, she kind of needs to be set on the right path, like directed in the right, given the right direction, because otherwise this constantly moving thought process of hers, this is, yes, he must be May from the spy world. Yeah, using high-tech devices to knock me unconscious and get past the cake's laser security system. But okay.
Yeah, I also love those small ones in between. Also, her being tied to the trails, right? There's train tracks and stuff like that.
The sequences are so great. All the gags are so much fun and so well timed. Even the lines that should be kind of like, yeah, hey, get it? That was stupid. Like, even those are delivered so well. Well, for one, if you were tied to the railroad tracks, how are you now here? The way she says that, it's almost like it's borderline a genuine question. It's not just like a smug quip. It's like, work with me here, Pinkie Pie. Doesn't that kind of not make sense?
Yeah. But I also like, actually, I like the episode because they're playing off Sherlock Holmes, right?
Yeah, So you'll be my lowly assistant who asks all the obvious questions.
No, and also like the special forms of cake and stuff like that.
This is a make you hungry kind of episode. So many very good looking.
It's good, yeah.
And a chocolate mousse, which I don't know if I bother with that, but it's certainly the most memorable.
No, you give it to me.
But I mean,
then you can have the meringue stuff for yourself, the one with the marzipan in.
Yeah, that sounds good. But I mean, but yeah, like I said, this episode's like Pinkie's world. The conflict revolves around desserts, and everybody is just a little more like they're like just they're versions of themselves that are slightly more over the top than usual. And okay, you got me. I wear false eyelashes.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Just like I said, the sheer timing of so many the gags. Don't go near that cake, thief! Stop, thief! How are you, okay, thief? Return down the moon! Just like almost every moment of this episode, there's just so many, and it's so much fun.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, very good take on Pinkie Pie logic too. How wrong it can go, and how when you point her in the right direction, she can actually solve this case like that.
Up is the direction.
But yeah, a lot of effort, a lot of fun, a lot of creativity went into this episode, and yeah, I thought it was great time all the way across. It was the archetypal Pinkie Pie episode.
Yeah. Yay.
All right, your turn.
Oh, my number 2, right?
Yes.
It's Pinkie Pie.
Mm-hmm.
And you already talked a lot about it, so I would just say, like, I actually like the way, like, she's being sad, and it goes over to her because she's fearing stuff like losing her friends and her home. And I actually think like it is played off a little silly, yeah, but it's also like really intense for her. And the goof off and all of that stuff with Weird Al is just like cherry on top for me. Actually, the scene where she cries and like really got to me, because like even though it's played off maybe a little too over dramatic, it's also, I'm thinking like you can feel like that when you are a child, like you were having a new baby brother or something, and they're taking all of the spotlight. Yeah.
A lot of it just seems like when people make defenses for this episode, for that sequence anyway, all of it seems to me like, well, maybe in theory, but I mean, there's ways you can play that so that it wouldn't have to be like this just sledgehammer to the face, like, oh wait, Pinkie is sad.
But that is the whole meaning of it, because like she is like the pony I think like they would do that for. None of the others I think like they would do that for.
Like, I mean,
I'm not sure though.
I mean, in spite of everything, I do have a tough time on like just telling people straight up that they shouldn't like that. I mean, well, to me, obviously, it is like I said, the sledgehammer to the face. I don't think it actually cares about Pinkie's character or any other. I think it cares about telling the audience what it thinks they want to hear on pandering to them. But I mean, I've had a couple of people say to me that, well, you know, I was going through some of my own insecurity when I saw that, and I just, you know, I felt like it really struck a chord there, that really spoke to me there. And I mean, it's like, I don't know, who am I to say that that's wrong? Like,
yeah. But also, I really love the ending. I know that a lot of people are like, yeah, that's a little too much, but I actually love that Weird Al took inspiration from her. And like, as I said, with your, you know, if it's a brother or somebody else taking your spotlight, like this is, you know, you have to take inspiration from others also, like, and move on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and also I love the way like she gets her rainbow eyes, and then she knows that she did too much. Mm-hmm. I really love that. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I love that. Like, I had a tough time feeling sorry for Rainbow Dash in that moment, since it was kind of her fault in the first place. But,
yeah, but still, though, I think like it's good for Pinkie Pie. Like, she learns when there's enough too much, because like, yeah, it have been problems with her in the past where it was a little bit too much. So yeah.
I mean, I suppose that's true. I do kind of like the revelation with cheese sandwich there. I mean, it's your standard solution, but I mean, it's like you said, it is pretty sweet. It is a nice way for him to kind of extend a hoof, as it were, out to Pinkie. But yeah, he didn't want there to be any conflict here.
Yeah.
But
but now we had talked about that episode before you have, so I guess your turn again. Number 2, right?
So, oh yeah, my number 2 is Mystery on the Friendship Express. Because I do think that is kind of the archetypal Pinkie Pie episode, and wait a minute.
We're already on number 1, yeah.
Alright, and my number 1, Too Many Pinkie Pies.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I was the one, yeah.
Like, this episode is so good that, okay, it's not a dramatic big event episode. It's not a two-parter. It's not supposed to be like one of the definitive moments for the characters, and it still makes a lot of top 10 lists just on sheerly the merit of its writing. That is how good this one is. That writing is too good even for the fan base that would check off just every quote-unquote key moment episode. Still good enough to not be forgotten. She is at the top of her game here. It's like Pinkie Pie's red-hot streak. This, like right from the get-go, she's in full Pinkie Pie mode with some of just her best lines, her best moments. First thing she does, she accidentally causes Twilight to turn a bird into an orange, and what happens? And what does she do? She thinks it's cute, and oh, do me next, Twilight, do me. Want to watch Twilight turn me into an orange? It's gonna be fun. Oh, Pinkie, you really have to stop talking to yourself. Starting now.
Yeah. I really like the scene where she's watching the paint dry, but where with the copies and stuff like that, it's a little bit too much for me. I must admit. I think it's cute. It's not that. It's just like it's a little bit
well, I mean,
too
it's
much.
supposed to be a lot. Yeah, that's why it's annoying everybody.
Yeah, I know.
Needs to go. What else?
I'm sorry, Pinkie.
The only way you could pull that off is if there was more of you to go around.
Yeah.
The alarm clock had the slow motion fall, like this episode is really getting into the Pinkie Pie gags. And it does, like the paint dry scene, it does kind of give Pinkie Pie a conflict, and one I can buy into a lot more easily, and that I think explores her character pretty well. Like, you kind of see, like, she's okay with it at first, but then, when the friends can't tell which one is the real Pinkie, she's not thinking, okay, well, how can I prove that I'm the real Pinkie? Don't I remember things that these Pinkie Pies wouldn't because they were born yesterday? But no,
but
that's
she
not even.
She teaches them names and stuff like that herself.
Yeah, she teaches them names, and like people were trying. Like, I think the closest thing to a criticism I've heard of this episode is, okay, well, why don't you just ask the Pinkie Pies? Hey, which one of you can tell me something that happened yesterday? But the friends didn't know that the Pinkies don't have the original's memory, and the original Pinkie, she doesn't care about that. She starts getting into her Pinkie Pie logic again. Like, what she cares about is, like, okay, well, why am I any better a friend than any of these other Pinkie Pies? Like, don't they all look just like me, act just like me, care about the same things I do? I mean, is it just as well that I'm not their friend anymore? And, like, the test that she proposes, it's almost like, so she can prove that she cares about the friends more.
Yeah, I think that as well. And also, like, there's a scene where Rainbow Dash is like, there's only one more Pinkie, and it's soaping around in the pony wheel, and Twilight is like, sobbing or being sad, just bring her as well. But they're almost not believing that that is the original one, because she's starting to become sad. So cute.
Boy, they're thrown off by that, and so that's your cue. That is the real Pinkie. But and I mean, that is kind of nice that they make it clear that, like, okay, there is a difference the whole way across. But
it must also have been really hard for the original Pinkie not to look away, because, like, the other Pinkies are doing some serious stuff to get your attention.
Boy.
The G4 pony face is just like, oh my god.
Another little moment of minor genius. Bet you can't make a face crazier than this. Pinkie. It's crazy.
Yeah. And also, I think the way that Twilight, makes them disappear and stuff like that, I'm also like, maybe that could have been a more not that serious way to do it, but but it's okay.
It's a little bit of twistedness. This episode, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I can go for that. It's not afraid of. Yeah, it's just like skirting the edges of dark humor or just plain dark.
Yeah. And we are seeing in later episodes that maybe that there's still some clones out there.
Yeah, and I mean the mirror pool was a nice way to add to the lore too. That's like, that's how you take advantage of the fact that this is a magical world. You know, like think of creative possibilities. Think of little things like that can show up. That, I mean, that's a very memorable moment for the series because it kind of like there being a cockatrice wandering around, and probably better than that, but stuff like that. It takes advantage of the fact that magical offbeat stuff like that can be out there.
Yeah, so, I also really love the mural pool. Yeah, I think it's good, and also like she has this poem or what it is that she have to say that she learned from her grandmom and stuff like that, and also feels like more broody, or how to say that, genuine. Yeah,
I can see that. Yeah, I know some grandmom better, but favorite episode. Like as many laughs as the last one easily, and probably ones that are easier to go back to. Like this, like not some comedies can be great A+ without necessarily having rewatch value, because the first impression, your first reaction, that's the one you were meant to have. That's how it was supposed to play. But I mean, this one is the kind of stuff you can go back and see again and laugh just as hard. Like these kinds of gags, just because of how they're timed and the wordplay and just how into them the characters are. So love that. And like, not only is it just as funny as any of the other ones to me, I think it is probably Pinkie's best story as far as a conflict exploring her, a serious conflict goes.
Oh. Okay. Well,
not just the best Pinkie Pie episode, one of the best episodes, period.
Oh,
high
that's
on
nice.
my list of the best episodes.
Oh, that's great.
All right, and back to you. What are we going out on?
My number one is Heartbreakers. And I know that I'm going to get a lot of ones that are like, why in the world, because it's not a good episode. But I really just love the family-orientated stuff, and I like the different playouts from both Pinkie Pie and from Applejack. I can see it for both sides of views, because like we also have, Danish traditions, and me coming over to you, for example, making the risalamang and stuff like that, trying to incorporate your holidays with each other and stuff like that, and finding out like your family and stuff like that. It can be hard, and as they find out later, they should take it like small steps at the time, so it's not like overtaking everything. But I don't think like Applejack did it in any like malice way, or how to say that. She's just like not thinking about how much it could actually hurt with the tradition, because she thinks it's so great. So but
I mean, I did think that was played a little ham-fistedly, but I never saw a lot of backlash to this episode. I mean, it's not a bad episode.
It's just a lot that are saying like Applejack has no respect for the other traditions and stuff like that, and I don't think like that's true. I think like she has respect, then she learns like after also, but you also have to live and learn. Like you have been doing these traditions all of your life. For example, Applejack have done all of her tradition all of her life, and Pinkie have done her traditions all of her life. So it's hard to, of course, adjust to that, just like, without any warning, or how to say that. But I think like it's a really cute episode, and I think it has a great moral that we should support each other, and like actually mix culture and holidays and stuff like that. I like that.
But yeah, it's not that I didn't think it was a good message or anything like that. I guess I just didn't think it was demonstrated in a way that you actually would see someone act in that scenario. Because like the thing with the rock soup dinner. I mean, it's like they basically just walk in and go, "Well, where's the real food?" Like, just say.
That was a little rude, yeah.
I mean, and then like the way they play it off is actually, oh, this actually is what we were expecting, right, everybody? Nobody does that. Moments like that they always make me cringe. And if there's anyone out there that's not true for, well, you're a better person than me. But I mean,
I just also like the way that she, for example, finds her gift and, all of it coming together, her realizing stuff.
That is really well done, yeah. It's like that,
sweet,
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, just the way it transitions into Applejack deciding that she needs to, show them how it's done. Like, okay, not only is it pretty ham-fisted when she does, and like where everybody's getting mad, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't mean to cause any trouble, but here, I really think you'll feel better if you start doing it my way." Like, it's like, what did I say in my review? Here, have a banana. Oh no, I'm allergic. I break out if I even touch it. No. Ooh, sorry, didn't mean to cause a problem there. But I really think you'll feel better if you try it. Here comes the airplane. Ooh. But, then, like, it doesn't even set that up in a way that seems like the writing was like particularly ironed out. Like, I mean, Applejack and Pinkie are talking. Okay, picture this: both our families opening presents, picturing it, loving it, and then they cut to Applejack trying to sneak it past Pinkie Pie. I mean, I don't know. It comes across like they were, halfway through editing it, like chopping out this and that one. They just, threw it onto the slab and printed it.
But I still think it has a nice result, or how to say that.
That's very true.
I think it have to be a little on the nose to get its point across. But of course it's a children's show, so sometimes it can be a little, maybe too much with but I just really like it, and them being sad at the same time in the cave, for example, it's just like, hits me. Because I'm like also thinking about, again, my own family, and if I have to
I mean, granted, like my own logic, like, well, it's a kid show, it can't be over the top, like, my logic on that is okay, but then the episode that did it more smoothly, better, that means that they're better. But I also think that you're something that has the biggest effect on you is the biggest good effect on you is the best episode, not the one that you can nitpick the least amount of things in. So totally get where you're coming from on that.
Some good episodes. Yay!
Alright. Pinkie Pie has done a lot of good in her day.
Yeah. So we are actually done now. Oh, wow.
That's all I've got to say.
Yay! Hey, guys.
Alright. Take care. See you at the next
Second day away.
Good night, Pinkie. And be sure to vote in the comments section which character we're doing next. So, it has to be a member of the main 6 still, because we're not done with them, but vote
main
away.
7.
No.
Yes.